Oh, there we are. We're finally live. What is up, fellas? And what's up, all of you guys here in the chat as well. Welcome back to the Blast TV Major live here in Paris after what was, I would say, a bit of a relief. Some fans here in the 8-core arena, but I'm super excited to be here for the overtime show. My name is Jake. I'm joined by some amazing guests. I got Shox to my left.
Hello.
And of course, we're joined by the one and only Dupreeh.
Yo, yo.
I got to ask you guys, right after the match, how are we both feeling? Have any nerves been relieved after all that?
Of course. I mean, coming into this game, we knew that we were the top dog. That we were. Everyone expected us to win, but also had to recognize that Apex was here for a reason. They've been playing really solid, and that's what we saw the game today. I mean, and when you get to the stage of a major, like I don't think you will ever encounter like an easy game, and it's not like that anymore. Like maybe you would have gone back to like 2016, you would have had an easy game, and if you went up against a lower tier team, but not nowadays.
Shox, how you feeling?
You know, as a spectator and as a Vitality fan, it was really hard to actually like watch because it was really a close series, and we were actually like thinking like, no, please, no, not a third map. You know, we don't want to go on Inferno. Come on. So we were really like, yes, a lot of relief when Just Vertigo end up.
Yeah, I mean, were there any points at all where the nerves came out? You know, we saw all the face cams and reactions throughout the entire series. Was there any point in time where you guys felt the nerves of Apex?
Actually, speaking for myself, I was never really worried that we would lose in some sense. I was kind of confident we would end up winning, but of course it got really close. I felt like we were in control. And I think the main topic for today was that we, of course, we want to win. We want to lift the trophy and everything. But the main topic today was definitely that I think we, in parts of the game, showed that we wanted it too much. Like there was literally just situation we decided not to play correct because we either overpeaked or we wanted to finish the round of the game too fast, and that ended up giving the opportunity for Apex to either make a retake or whatever situation it might have been, or we threw away the extra guys that we had just killed. So in that sense, I think I hope that we will not do the same thing tomorrow, because that was the reason, in my opinion, that it got so close.
And you guys had a lot of force-ups, a lot of confident plays. You think the crowd played a little angle in that today?
Of course, I think I mean, Shox can also relate to this. Like whenever you get to play on the big stages and you go and play these semifinals and finals and whatnot, whenever you get the first and you get the second and you can hear the roar of the crowd, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go for that third one as well. You know, I mean,
till you die, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You know, sometimes that's what you need to do, but sometimes you also need to just put your logic into your brain and say, okay, I just need to get out of here. I just need to survive now, because then you will put the pressure, even more pressure on the enemies. And I think that is it's something that is extremely hard to learn because you get carried away by the whole atmosphere.
And I want to pose this to you first, Shox. Pay the due respects for Apex. What an incredible run. Who were you most impressed today on the Apex roster?
Actually, Stico. I feel like he played like really well. I didn't expect him to do so well, and he showed up like at the perfect timing when actually like Apex needed him today.
Yeah, same with Stico. I think he had some really impactful rounds, both on Mirage but also on Vertigo. And in general, I think they, as a team, played pretty well. I don't think like anyone was literally slipping up. And like on the scoreboard, you might have seen Quickson maybe not like hitting all his shots, but I still believe that he made some really good calls, and I believe he's also the brain behind the team. So I think, in overall, like Apex should be really proud of what they've achieved here.
100%. And speaking of Stico, all of you guys at home can actually vote. Stico versus JL, who deserves a spot in the show match. I want to bounce back really quick at your thoughts on the first match today, which was an upset, and one I think a lot of fans here were glad we didn't see Vitality upset in similar fashion. Heroic versus Gamer Legion. What were you guys' thoughts after that first match went down? It's
really hard. My first thought is like I was scared for Vitality. Because I was like, okay, no, an underdog is going to the final, please. No, not for you guys. You know, I want to see Vitality in the final, so that's my first thought. But as Dupreeh was saying before, honestly, like when you're coming to a major, and especially now in 2023, like you can't expect anything from any match, because every players and every teams that are actually in the playoff here on the stage, like they deserve to be here, and they are at a really good level. And then you add the pressure, you add the crowd, you add the atmosphere, everything, and from there, like everything can happen basically.
I mean, I was in the beginning when I saw the whole veto process, I was certain that Heroic was going to win, because the maps that came out of that one was heavily favored towards Heroic, in my opinion. I think you could just tell that whenever they hit the third map, Game Legion basically started believing again, like they really believed that they could start winning. And from there on, it was just Game Legion hitting all the shots where Heroic didn't. And that is just what happens in these type of tournaments. I mean, one thing is that you can play like perfect CS, but when you hit these type of like third maps in a semifinal, Counter-Strike just changes into a phase where it's more about you need to dare to do stuff instead of playing scared. So whenever you see someone doing an ASU, you're gonna see someone jumping through a smoke, and he gets this important kill that will turn the whole round. And I think that is just what Game Legion did better today. They were not afraid. They were not afraid of losing. They were playing to win. And I'm not saying that Heroic obviously didn't. You know, they were also playing the thing. But I also think as a team as Heroic, when you come as the big team and you know that you have the expectations for the crowd and for the community and all, probably also from yourself, you can get shocked playing these teams because you're like, they're not supposed to do all these kind of crazy things, you know, but all of a sudden they're doing it because they don't have respect. Yeah. And I think that's also what have changed throughout the years. So when you look back at the previous majors, you'd see 1-2 teams maybe going through. Now you have the teams, we had 4 like kind of surprises going into this playoff, and it's just a huge generation shift, I believe. I honestly believe it's a generation shift, and you would have really easy games back in the days in majors if someone made like an upset going on stage because they were shaking. Nowadays, it's more like these new players coming to the game. They know that they can go up against these big names. They don't care like whoever the name is. They're just gonna play because that's what they've been doing for the last couple.
Yeah, I totally agree with dupreeh. And back then, it was definitely not like this. When younger teams were facing like bigger teams, like on the server, actually, you could see like sometimes you are getting kills or you're getting like easy runs. Like, what are they doing even, you know? And they're just like crumbling under the pressure because they are facing big team, big names. But now they are playing like, it's not about, I would say, respect. It's just like they believe really in themselves that they are better than you when they play against you, you know? And as when you are like supposed to be like the better team, it just gets you like pretty fast, like uncomfortable, like, okay, these guys are not missing around. Like they really want to get this game.
Yeah, I love how you guys bring this point up because we've had these younger IGLs, at least with lesser major experience. You talk about Kixon or you talk about Shuhei, who I think has become a crowd favorite here, and you're going up against tomorrow as well. Can you speak to, are you impressed with Shuhei and these players? You already kind of spoke to what they've done impressively so far, but Shuhei in particular, are you impressed by his actions?
Sure. I mean, I don't think you can put the results on one guy only. Like, it's their entire team that is obviously believing in whatever he calls, and you also have their individuals stepping up. I think, you know, you need a team effort to make it this far at a major. It's not like one guy just hitting their shots here and there, but you need like a whole unit to believe in the actual course. And I don't think Game Legion has ever believed more in winning a major than they do now, obviously, since they're in the major final. But they also beat Heroic, you know, one of like the team that everyone probably expected to go to the grand final. So I think that it's I mean, a big. You got to take the hat off for both Apex and also Game Legion. No matter the outcome of this major, whatever they've done here is just they are definitely part of the big guys now.
Yeah, and a lot of people like to knock on the storyline of these unexpected or these teams that are here that are a bit, you know, not your big tier teams. A lot of big teams have fallen off so far. So not to knock the run. You guys between you have so much major experience, both you know, major win and many major wins, also so many major appearances. If you had advice for these young up-and-comers when it comes to a grand finals of a major, how do you keep those nerves calm? What's that moment like?
Well, first, I don't think he wants to give them some advice.
I'm
not sure about that.
I was thinking the exact same.
No, but honestly, right now, I won't say anything because they are here. They are in the grand final, you know? So I think they understand the game and they understood like what it comes down to actually get there. You were talking about like Sihu, you know? And for me, one thing like which is really like important, when you look at him outside the server, you can see he's bringing to the team a synergy and a calm things, you know? And when you are in such atmosphere like this with a lot of pressure, you need to be calm. It's really important because you're gonna get a lot of tense situation during the run. And if you just let your nerves going like that, this is what dupreeh was talking about, is like you're gonna do some mistakes or you're gonna give some space to the enemy to actually make a play, you know? And by staying calm like that, they are more in the control of the game. And doing that while being such a young player and a young team, honestly, prop to him.
Yeah, and again, sorry for asking you that one. We're going to pull up the poll for all of you guys at home as well, the JL versus Stico poll ongoing for the show match on top of that. Actually, apparently not working, but we'll continue because I wanted to bring up a unique question as we bring up these French fans. I don't know if you guys caught the footage on Twitter. They came in via boat this morning, the Golden Hornets.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there as well?
Yeah,
I should have known.
I saw them, yeah.
How has that experience been? You guys have been all over the world. What compares to these French fans?
I mean, for me, this reminds me of how it is playing in Denmark. Obviously, I guess that's how it is when you have passionate fans coming from your home country. And I've experienced this a couple of times, mainly playing in Blast, also in Royal Arena in Copenhagen. But I've also, when we won the Grand Slam back in Odense. So I think for me, it reminds me of the whole. It reminds me of home, and it's always nice to have the home crowd with you. They always, they bring good atmosphere, and you start believing. And if you can gain the energy that they will provide to you, you can get that and use that as a motivation. You will also have, in my opinion, the upper hand. But at the same time, if you go to a stage and you don't convert that energy that they're producing to you, they will also put that as a pressure on you. Like, in my opinion, it's actually either of those. You either go and you just play out of your mind because you are like, woof, you're getting carried by the crowd, or you actually start having issues performing because there's tons of expectations all around you, and you have your family, your girlfriend, and everything watching you. You want to make yourself look good, And I think if you can control your nerves in that sense, I think they will just benefit you so much.
And the French fans in and out, always been there to support you. Is that a big driver during competition like this?
Honestly, like, it's a dream for me, like, to be there. And actually, it's really nice to have like a spectator view. I would say it's probably it is my first like big event like this in majors that I'm actually coming from the beginning, as a spectator rise. And enjoying all the fans, all the atmosphere, and I'm even like chanting with them, I'm dancing, I'm jumping. Like, I'm really like, I want to live this experience as from a spectator view to see how it is,
Yeah.
And honestly, so far the guys are really amazing. And I also like the fact that, for example, like, yes, they're gonna boo the enemy of Vitality or whatever, but at the end of the match, they're still gonna clap because we have a lot of respect for every teams, every players. And for me, this is something really important to show to every teams. Like, yes, we're gonna be enemy on the battlefield, but outside the battlefield, we totally respect every teams here.
For sure. I got some individual questions. dupreeh, searching for a fifth major, been to every single CSGO major, a feat that you shouldn't be humble about, but I'm sure you are. So we're entering this major as CSGO comes to a close. What are the feelings that come to mind?
I will obviously be lying if I wouldn't just love winning tomorrow. That would be amazing, because getting another unique achievement for myself would be very nice. But I've really tried not to put any focus on it this tournament because I don't need additional pressure in that sense that I need to go out and put that effort into to win. Of course, I want to see it as a motivation, but I was more afraid of going to this tournament and seeing it as a pressure element. So I would much rather just want to see it as a motivation and put that motivation into performing with the team and then winning it together with the team, proving that we can hopefully win a major as an international team. But also winning it for Vitality and for Saiwu, who has not won a major yet. And overall, that is just how I look on it. But of course, I will do everything that I can tomorrow to make it count.
Yeah, and I know all the fans here are looking forward to it. The arena will certainly be packed. To you, though, shox, as CSGO comes to a close and CS2 slowly enters whatever it may this year, what can we expect from your competitive future when it comes to CS2? You allowed to tell us anything?
Right now, I can't say especially something or whatever, any hint. But for sure, like, there is a new version, and I've been kind of playing almost all the versions since Counter-Strike came out back in the days. And I want to play competitive on CS2 with the team 100%. I'm not done yet.
Awesome. Unfortunate news today, especially for the French fans. Someone who was done with play, Kenny S, taking to stage to announce that prolonged retirement, I guess I should say the official retirement after 11 years of pro play. And of course, fans here met with mixed emotions of, wanting him to give CS2 a try. You guys have any words when someone like that goes away from the scene?
I think that obviously shox has the most experience with Kenny because he's a French player and he's been playing along him. But I mean, shox has been around for ages. I even tried to make a breakout when I was playing Counter-Strike Source back in the days. Never really made it. But I remember my first official, I think it was like called EMS or whatever it was back in the days in Counter-Strike. I was playing Very Games for the first time, and I think that was when Kenny was just picked up as the new Arbor for the team, and back then things were just super unprofessional. But I guess Very Games was like probably the most professional team out there. And you know, it was just a huge experience. And you know, I've been competing against Kenny for many years, and also alongside Shox. You know, I've been going up against these guys a lot, and we've had our ups and downs in our careers. So of course, it's we're all getting old. But at the same time, I think Kenny has had a really good career. You know, he's been crowned as probably one of the best always of all time, and I think he can obviously be proud of what he achieved. And I think he has found hopefully a new joy. And I believe that he's streaming a lot right now, so I hope he's found a new joy and that he will continue doing what he makes him happy, because that is, you know, kind of the definition of what you need to do in life. You know, you need to be happy about what you do, and it was nice to see him trying to come back and play with Falcons. And I think a lot of guys had a lot of nostalgia watching him play. But of course, times is changing. But yeah, I think he can be proud of what he's done.
Yeah, I totally agree with dupreeh. You know, the most important, we will always remember him for what he had done on the game, for sure. But if I talk about the human being, I think he did what he wanted to do. He wanted to try to do a comeback for the Paris Major, and because he wanted to play there, and he was also thinking about a comeback on CS for some time now. And I think it was really important for him to actually like try it. And this Paris Major was the time to actually try it. You know, he didn't manage to do it, but he decided to pick, I think, the actually perfect moment to just like call it, you know, as he was saying on the scene in front of his home crowd, you know, with all these guys cheering for him. It was honestly like really emotional. And I think right now he's more enjoying what he's doing as a content creator that he was when he was a player, you know. So I think yeah, as dupreeh was saying, like, it's a life choice, and I think he will be really happy in the future, and that's the most important. I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, I think it's always understated. The life of a pro player is not an easy life.
Yeah.
By any means. You guys put up a lot of sacrifices to be at all the events that you've actually been at, and you made note earlier. You guys are getting old. You got plenty of time. You've already achieved plenty as well. Do you guys have any up and comers that have piqued your interest or caught your eye on the scene?
I think there's a lot of players out there right now that are on the brink of making a breakthrough. As I mentioned earlier, I think we are definitely seeing a generation shift in Counter-Strike, and it's been going on for a little while. I mean, maybe I think that's also why you see so many upsets at the major. I strongly believe that when you bring in new players into to these big teams, you know, going to major has always been so special for everyone. And you know, when you bring in like these new talented persons, like they need more time they can maybe play really well at a tournament that doesn't have the same legacy or whatever it is, but whenever they go, you know, everything just starts getting a little bit more special, and everyone is expecting a little bit more, and there's more spectators and whatnot. But there's so many people out there right now that I think has definitely proven themselves that they belong to becoming a top player. But I mean, if I had to pick one, I believe that m0NESY is probably the one that would go with. I mean, he's so young, and he's a super talented guy, and he's an upcoming superstar. And I don't see why he wouldn't also go out and win majors whenever he gets older. It might even be the next one or whatever. I don't know. Being so young and have such a big career in front of you should obviously is very big for him. So I think that's probably going to be my pick if I had to pick one.
I won't be able to pick actually one. I will just say that I really hope that this new generation are gonna do the same on CS2, because it's gonna be a new game and it's gonna come like in the next few months, you know. And there is a lot of new upcoming talents, as you were saying, that had been there actually for some years now, because they were like playing in the shadow, or you were not seeing them trying to become the best or whatever. And they are actually in that moment that they are doing the turnovers to maybe like go against these tier 1 teams. And this moment, this is where CSGO is gonna stop. So now, what can happen on CS2? Can they still move forward? Are still the tier 1 teams gonna be a bit above? Is it gonna be stuck? Are the tier 1 teams are gonna go down, and all this new generation are just gonna be like the best? You know, like, I don't know, and I'm really excited for the future actually.
You know, an interesting question to pose would be, who was your guys' generation, of your generation, who was the m0NESY? Who was the up-and-comer, the young kid on the block that maybe nobody saw coming, who came out of nowhere? Is there a comparison?
If you take the op, I would pick Kenny as back then. In 2014, he was just unplayable.
I guess Nico, maybe. I mean, for a long
well,
time, I think Nico was also considered a very big talent and played in the some of the was it Bosnian teams, like, and then he was picked up by Mouse Sports eventually, you know, and he had a hard time, you know, not breaking through with Mouse Sports because he was definitely performing in there, but I think the team around him was not as good as he wanted it, and now eventually when he was picked up by Facium, that's when he really started to shine. So I think Nico is definitely there. I guess also players like Snacks and Bialy out of nowhere. I mean, I know sure they haven't played for a while, and I think they're still trying to make a team now. But at least when Virtus Pro back in the days was a team that, you know, the polls were you know, a heavy contender to win titles, they also came out of nowhere. You know, like all of a sudden you saw Snacks and Bialy playing at this, I don't know, the second or the third major, and you're like, who are these guys? And then they just won it, you know.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we're going to enter into one of our last segments. We do appreciate you guys' time. It's an experimental segment, okay? As we have a French and a Dane here, I was going to give you guys some call-outs in game and have you guys express the call-outs in your native language,
okay,
and see how they differ from each other. This could be terrible.
I guess I think I know, you know, obviously I will probably know a couple of the French ones.
I know, yeah, you guys might know vice versa.
But I don't know any Danish
No,
one,
exactly.
So let's start with Pillar on Overpass.
Yeah.
So how would you make that call in game in your native language?
Dildo.
Like just the site?
What's up?
Dildo.
Yeah, dildo. I mean, in English, but in French, it's like either dildo or pilier.
Yeah, but in Danish, dildo as well.
Okay, so that would be why that was recommended to me. How about jail on Overpass?
So like when you go in Monster and then you have like the
in front of Monster?
In front of Monster, like the grills thing, you can like the railings you can jump off. I think it varies from team to team, but in Danish you would probably say, I mean, like what did we even call that in that area? Is actually called Jakim, I think. Like not when you go on top, but if you stay on the right. So the wood place, that's called rain. And then in Astralis, we were like, okay, so we got killed by someone on the opposite direction. And we were like, we need to find a name for this. And like, okay, so what other really good Norwegian players do we have back at the time? And it was like, oh, Jakim. So we booked it for Jakim. But otherwise, it's going to be called Grill, I think.
And there's no dirty name for that?
No, dirty name? No, I don't have one, because in French, you would just say like grillage. But as Peter was saying, depending on the teams you go, there is so much specific angles in that area that actually in the teams you pick like name of some players that did some plays, or maybe in practice he got 3 kills. Okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works.
All right, this might be you know, obviously they gotta go the standard. So, banana on Mirage. Do you guys say banana or what do you say?
On Mirage?
Yeah.
On Mirage?
Oh, Inferno.
Ah, okay. Yeah, in Danish it's banane, so it's banana.
Banan.
What was that?
Banan.
Okay, so pretty simple.
Yeah.
All right,
but then there's like tons of different ways. And banana's like the whole thing, and then you have specific ones everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys get real specific when it comes to callouts.
Yes, you have to. Most of the case.
Yes. Because
Sometimes
the more specific you are with your information, the more your teammate can actually put his crosshair on the right direction and get an advantage when he's gonna pick. If you are not as precise as needed when you're gonna give your communication, then your teammate either is not gonna do anything because he doesn't really know what to do, or either if it's not a good information and he wants to pick, then he will probably lose his duel because the crossfire is not like perfectly on the enemy.
That makes a lot of sense when you say it like that. Scaffold on Vertigo.
That will be actually in
the yellow part.
Yeah, like when you go A, right? I think it's just called gul, which is yellow in Danish.
Yeah, jaune, which means yellow in English.
So is the idea being to make these callouts as short, simple as possible?
Yes.
And also they have to be, so obviously if you go like scaffold, you would just, you know that like it's yellow. So obviously you wouldn't call it purple because that would just be weird, you know?
Yeah.
So the more like specific, you could also look at something on the map and there's like a sign saying danger. Then this spot is called danger because, you know, it kind of it makes sense in the specific area.
So is pomfrit, is that not a...
Yes, it is. It is. I know in Danish you call it pomfritten as well, which is the French fry.
Why?
Yellow?
It's yellow.
Okay, I didn't know about this one. I didn't know about this one.
I think it's... we didn't use that in Astralis from what I remember. No, we did not. But I think if you play Face It with like a Face It stack or whatever, I'm pretty sure people say it pomfritten.
Okay, last one for you. You know what? This is my failed segment. All right, I should have tried
It's fine.
a little better. When someone is low, one shot, you know, you've done a lot of damage. What's the call out?
Low HP.
Low HP?
Yeah, we would probably go We probably go. We had so many back in this, but yeah, I think low is probably the one that we even say low in Danish. We may also say HSL, which means headshotted, like it's just like a short of hit, like HSL, which just means he's or dinked. We can also say he's
dinked.
Gooshed. That's what they say in
Gooshed.
in North America. I think. Well, he knows better than I do.
Yeah, and sometimes if you want to be really sure, sometimes I like to do like to say to my teammates, for example, if I know I dinked him, plus I give him one hit like in a wall, so I know he's like 3 HP, I would really insist of this communication, like he literally has 3 HP,
Yes.
please trust me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he knows he can jump, he can not even like really like use his crosshair or whatever, like just find his leg and he's dead, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
We would also use he's 1 HP, like 1 HP, or we would go in the trials we had USP low. So he'd be like, he would only die. He would die from one bullet from a USP.
Yeah.
He's just blow.
And this is where sometimes you have good teammates and bad teammates. You have the good teammates that when they're saying 1 HP, they're already 1 HP. And you have bad teammates that are saying 1 HP.
And he has 30 left.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of esports out there.
But let's be honest, we've all tried that. Oh, I
Yeah,
headshot
yes.
him, and you headshot him through like a wall, and he's like only took 20 damage. We've all tried it.
Everybody, every single person at home has said someone is low, and everyone finds out that they're not.
Yeah, you're like, oh fuck, I only hit him once. That happens a lot.
All right, let's end on this one. And it's been a real joy to have you guys. A couple pro players who have been out throughout the entirety of CSGO. So I want to ask you, from its inception of the early days of CSGO until now, what are some major differences that you have noticed, or what has been one of your favorite moments throughout the entirety of Counter-Strike Global Offensive?
I think just overall, if I had to pick one, I think the level in general has just gotten so much better. Sometimes if you go back and watch some of the very old VODs of a tournament, you're like, how did we even why are we playing like that? And people are just like not doing anything cool. Nowadays you have to like consider everything.
I will pick the fact that, yeah, first the level, of course, like is way higher than it was in the past. But if I will have to remember one thing is how the community and the viewers just like were really grew all these past 10 years, you know. If you look at the first major with the viewership and you look at this one, for example, like there is a huge difference. A lot of people are actually back 10 years ago didn't know about CS. I don't know even if Monesi was playing 10 years ago. I'm not even sure.
Was he even born?
You see?
He's what, 18?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Then obviously he was born if it's 10 years ago, but he was obviously just going to kindergarten.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous when you say it like that, but I can't thank either of you enough. Shox, I know who you're rooting for tomorrow. Best of luck with CS2 and what announcements may come. Dupreeh, obviously nothing but the best of luck to you and the rest of Vitality. And huge shouts to all of you guys still watching. We're going to say goodnight here from Paris. We have an amazing matchup, Gamer Legion versus Vitality. Grand finals of the major happening tomorrow. Good night, Paris. We'll see you there.